This is Maggie, and today starts or kicks off the first, and I hope a growing evolution thing for this channel. As I had previously stated in little short bits before, am kind of moving things along with this channel, and one of the things that I'm doing is bringing in more people to help me with all the things that I want to do and expand on the channel and on my farm. And one of the things being cooking and having fun and getting my family involved. And one of the family members that I'm so excited to get involved is my baby brother.
Hey.
His name is Mark, but you will probably hear me call him everything but Mark.
For sure. For sure.
So yeah, as things move along and you have questions about what his name is, just hit us up.
Or why you're calling me.
Or why.
She's calling me.
Well, and part of the thing will be evolutionary. We'll be telling stories of how we got to where we are today as far as cooking and blah, blah, blah. So, on that note, one of the reasons I wanted to bring Mark into the fold is because he is a cook / chef, because he's done just basic line cook and he's done professional chefing work in fancy schmancy places. So I want and so that's one thing him and I have in common, is that we both love to cook. I'm more of a, of course, family home style cook. He, like I said, has the skills of a professional, and so I think when he cooks, he tends to blend the whole family home style cooking with a dash of professionalism, which I don't. And so one of the things that I hope he brings to the table is showing us a little bit more how to be better in the kitchen. So while I gotta go shut off something that I started cooking, I would like for you to talk a little bit about what your background is as far as cooking. Let's start off with that.
So I've never been formally trained actually cooking, so I've never been to culinary schools, just off of going in the kitchen and figuring it out pretty much. The very first job I ever had was at Harkins Movie Theater. I got it illegally.
Shut up, I didn't know that.
I signed up.
You were working at a movie theater?
Yeah, Harkins Movie Theater, which was like a big movie theater back then. It was almost in every mall before AMC and all of those big ones. And my best friend got a job during the summer, and Vaughn, he was actually old enough to work, and we were always together. So I wanted to make money.
How old were you?
I was, he was 2 years old, so I was like 14 at the time, and this is in Phoenix, Arizona. And I worked that job that whole summer, and I think they knew it.
What were you doing?
I was sweeping the theater. I did everything, the cashier, make the popcorn, I did all of that, at Arizona Mills Mall.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was I already out of living at?
No, you were still
there.
there. You were still in Phoenix. And then I think they kind of knew, but I worked that whole summer, like all 3 months of summer.
How were they paying you?
I was getting checks. And cashing them for sure.
Okay.
And because no ID, South Phoenix, you can go cash a check easily. Especially back then, the late 90s or whatever. And I didn't know I wanted to do cooking. I just knew I wanted to, but my first cooking job was when it was actually Popeye's cooking job. And I got that when I was 16 in Germany. And from there, they asked me, well, do you want to cross-train at Anthony's Pizza? And I was like,
wait, Popeyes and Anthony's are the same.
They're under the, so everything
same
overseas is just ran by AFES.
Okay, gotcha.
And they asked if I wanted to get cross-trained over there, and I was like, well,
sure.
More money? And they said, absolutely. So I got a raise there, and then they told me, anything you get cross-trained in, you get a quarter raise. So
a whole quarter.
A whole quarter. That's big money back then, It's like I was excited. A quarter. And keep in mind, I was like, I was like $8. That was my pay rate, $8, and I was excited about that.
That's pretty high though
I
for
mean,
the time,
for the
because
time
now
being.
it's the minimum wage is what,
It's
$7.25.
$7.25, and that's what I was like. So I was killing it out there. And so then, from Anthony's Pizza, then Cinnabon came, and Taco Bell, and Burger King. So I got cross-trained over pretty much every fast food restaurants that they had on any base in Germany. So I could go to different bases and stuff like that. And then I actually went into a German-Italian restaurant. We used to just go there all the time to eat. Me and my ex-girlfriend used to just go there all the time to eat. And I just asked them if they were hiring one day. And I got trained by this German-Italian guy who was just brutal. Like Chef Gordon style, like brutal to the point
I worked for one of those guys.
you wanted to quit, but I was no, I'm gonna go back the
I
next
wasn't
day.
a cook though, or I wasn't a chef or a cook, or I was not in the kitchen. I was a server, but I worked for one of those guys. And the thing of it is, that used to piss me off about those guys, is everybody would make the excuse for him. Oh, he's a professional chef. He's temperamental, and I'm like,
He's
he's
so
an
great.
asshole.
Yeah, you don't have to
He
be
is
asshole.
an ass.
Yeah, which you should guys know. You don't have to be a douche chef to be
No.
good at what you do, or to run your brigade properly and efficiently. You don't have to do the whole screaming. If you guys ever we ever do something where maybe y'all come into the line and see how I work, or expo, you'll actually see I'm the exact opposite of that. You work so much better.
Yeah.
You'll catch more flies with honey, right? As they say.
Yes.
So that's how I kind of got started cooking, and then we moved back stateside in 2004, and I didn't know what else to apply for. I didn't know
Gotcha.
any other trade to say, plumbing or none of that. So the first thing I went to apply for, because I needed a job like that, was restaurant jobs, and I didn't
And
care.
those are the quickest ones. You literally can start working the minute you walk in. They're like, can you start right now?
I worked at my first job in Atlanta, which was the city we moved to back from Germany. My very first job was at this place called Logos Deli and Pub, and I went in for a dishwashing job, and I got hired that day. I didn't want to start working that day because I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna have a beer, I'm excited. I was like 4 days back in the country, and so I was like, I'll start tomorrow. And I started the next day, and a guy on the line quit that night.
Yep,
And
that's the way it
I
goes.
was like,
That's what's weird about restaurants. Oh, well, not weird, but a lot of people may or may not know the turnover rate on restaurants is insane.
it's probably the most turnover. I can't even think of another job.
Housekeeping.
Yeah.
Those were the best nights.
Yep.
But so that's how you came, because when you were little, I never saw you be interested in the kitchen.
So I've eaten food I didn't know. No.
You know what's funny is it because a little background for us is our dad was a cook.
Mhm.
He wasn't professionally trained, except for that he did work in the military.
But and they still don't. Back then they didn't really train you, and I've worked in a lot of military kitchens as well. They didn't really train you back then. They just got guys together and was like, "You're the cook."
Well, he didn't cook in the military. He cooked afterwards.
Mhm.
He worked at the can't remember the name of that place now. It was like a trade school type scenario, but it had military ties to it. And I'll think of it anyway, he used to cook for them their lunches. And
You're talking about not the boys camp, but other trauma. I can't think of the name.
It's on the tip of my tongue. So that's what he did. He cooked for them. So he used to see, and he was a pretty good cook. He was a good cook. He had a lot of Southern style
it was,
cooking.
like she said, it was never
It's
professional
home
cooking.
cooking.
Yeah, it was never professional.
And then you take our mother, who also was home cook, and she was Mexican, so she always cooked Mexican food. Later on, she did learn how to cook some home American stuff.
Spaghetti.
Tomato.
Like spaghetti. Anyway,
tomato.
Yeah.
But again, it was all very homey, very earthy, very, and growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was like stretching the dollar type of foods, which essentially become comfort foods when you get up, as you grow up.
For sure.
So,
oh yeah, there's plenty of foods now that
yeah.
I'm like, man, why?
The only reason I cook them
It's
is
because
because of that.
Exactly.
yeah.
For sure.
So we'll just have to bring some of those in.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you hope to bring? What do you want this to be for you? This whole investment, because this is an investment. Investing in the channel and investing in what do you want? What do you expect? What are your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations?
So first and foremost, we'll start off just being 100% honest. I've always wanted to do something like this. In general, period. I've just never actually had enough balls to actually do it until my sister, was like, "Hey, we're doing this. We're doing this." So
which
that's why.
it's how I always do things with you. I'm like, you're doing it, but you since you were
real.
little,
That's true.
you're coming with me.
That's very true. So that just being said, I've always wanted to do it. So she pulled me out of my uncomfort zone. Just we're gonna do it. Let's do it. See how it goes. As far as what I'm looking out to get from it is nothing. Hopefully, just to inform a couple people. Help a couple people out if they need it.
So what would you like to add to the channel then?
Definitely certain things like we talked about with the recipes. When you look at a recipe book, it's just the recipe. So we'll be doing certain recipes, but we'll also be showing different techniques on how to do different things. I would like to do that part of stuff. I don't know. There's some things.
Yeah. It's gonna be such a fun evolution because my hopes and dreams and goals is to really expand and grow and literally eventually, this is gonna sound crazy, have a farm restaurant outside. Out, of course, not here because this is a house, but eventually buy enough land or rent something where we can have the farm scenario and bring it in.
That
so,
ideally would be cool.
That is what I want. That is what I see. That is what I envision. That's what I would like, which is why I wanted to bring you in because I'm more of a farmer, gardener. I'm not a farmer yet, but I'm more of a gardener, and I've always loved the concept of you go outside, you grab some veggies, and you bring it in and cook it, and that's what you're having for dinner. That has always thrilled me. I think because I did. By the time you came on, things had settled down a little bit, but very food insecure, and the concept of being a farmer in my head was if you're a farmer, you can't possibly ever be hungry, which is not true, but the little kid ideals in my head, that's what it was. So,
to piggyback on that, here's one thing that I do know we all have in common, from the oldest down to me, I am the youngest. That food insecurity thing is in all of us. Whether there was different stages for you and Letty. Even for you, it took from Letty to you was, and then for sure me to Dennis and Nolan. But I 100%, I could have $3,000 whatever dollars in the bank and pay for a car, tank full of gas. But if my fridge is empty, I feel broke.
Yes. Period.
Period.
Yeah.
If my fridge is empty, I feel
And
broke.
for me, it's not so much the fridge, because to me that stuff shuffles around. I have to have full freezers.
My deep freezers have to be
full freezers and full pantries.
Yes, that is 100%. Yeah, perishable items as far as I'm cool.
I'm cool with if I don't have milk. Okay, who cares?
Yeah, I can.
But the other stuff, I have to have a full freezer and I have to have a full pantry because, and this comes from Dad, who used to say, "You give me 2 hot dogs and a bag of beans, and I can feed a whole platoon."
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, "Oh my God!"
Yes, for sure.
So that's okay. So that's what I hope to do is mesh the two worlds, mesh the gardening and small, like the homesteading aspect and the cooking, smash those together. Because I can cook. I think I'm an okay cook. I don't know.
She's better than what she gives herself credit for.
It's hard to say because I've been cooking for the same people my whole life. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
I was like,
and nobody ever complains. But no, I cook. Most of the people that I cook for are not. They'll eat anything. I mean, you take my husband and my 3 boys, and they pretty much will eat just about anything. So they're not very picky. Now, the twins are a little bigger,
yeah.
but not that picky in the sense that they're like, this doesn't taste good. They're picky in textures, and that has nothing to do with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris and Bill, you give them a bag of fried rubber bands, and they'll eat. So,
Rubber band.
so,
True.
and I know I do okay for home cooking, and I know I can take a recipe and always tweak it and make it mine and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
There's, in fact, my tuna noodle recipe. The other thing is, I don't.
It's like she doesn't have recipes. You're gonna hear that word a lot. I've never seen a recipe book come out ever. My whole entire life, she's cooked for me, and I've never seen a recipe book come out ever. So.
And the other thing that I do is I invent or create things, because they just sound like they would be put together, and typically they are. I don't know. That comes. Bill has said that, and Charlotte has also said that. Our spouses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how you guys know that things just go together.
Yeah, how would you know how to put this with that? It's a lot harder than you would think. But it's
not.
It's not. Yeah. You think of things that you like, and I don't know. For me, it's really not. It's really not.
And my cooking comes more from being around my mother, being around my father, being around my grandparents, my abuelita, and my tias, because that's who I learned just by watching. It's weird. Nobody ever taught me. Nobody ever said, this is how you fry an egg.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how you make mac and cheese. But I would be in the kitchen, I would be watching, and then I just knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there it is. So those are my professional cooking skills.
Yeah.
And so the other aspect to this is going to be, I'm going to be teaching him about gardening, and small animal keeping. We're also going to be learning how to butcher our own chickens. We're going to raise and butcher our own chickens, and hopefully eventually raise and butcher our own. Well, we're not actually going to butcher the pig or the lamb, but raise them. And
I'm not killing no lamb, but I'll eat his ass.
So yeah, just kind of meshing the two worlds. He will not be the only person joining us. Hopefully I can get my son, one of my sons who loves chickens, raise chickens. So he'll be in, and I'm gonna introduce the other one who'll be doing gardening. And then my husband will be in doing DIYs, because I have a long list of things that I need built, like raised beds and all kinds of gardening things, a tool shed.
You'll probably see me when you're doing that.
Yeah, so it's not just going to be cooking, it's going to be all the things that I was doing before, DIYs, cooking, animals, all of it. So I am so excited about how this is moving forward, and I think we've talked long enough. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to sign off for now. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them below. Talk to you guys later. Bye.